Today we are going to be doing an average value problem using trig. So we're going to look at this equation that we have, f of x equals cosine x on the interval 0 to pi over 6. And now you look, we have our average value formula over on this side. So we have 1 over b minus a on the interval of a to b f of x dx. So we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into this. So we have 1 over b, and your b is going to be your pi over 6, minus your a, which is 0. And this just turns into 6 over pi. So that's what's going to be on the outside of your integral. So it's going to be 6 over pi, in the interval of 0, pi over 6, cosine x dx. And so that turns out to be your integral. And now you're going to take this and you're going to take the integral. So to take the integral, we're going to do cosine of x. The integral of cosine of x is sine of x. So we have 6 over pi sine of x. And since we're no longer integrating, we're going to put a line. And we're going to put from 0 to pi over 6 because that is our interval. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do FTC and we're going to solve for this problem. And so you have 6 over pi on the outside still. But now what you're going to do is you are going to plug in your x. So we're going to have sine pi over 6 minus sine 0. And so this is what you're going to be solving for. And now sine pi over 6 is sine of 30 degrees because pi over 6 is 30 degrees. And so what we're going to use is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. And so we have sine is your opposite over hypotenuse. And so opposite over hypotenuse would be 1 over 2. So we're going to have 1/2 minus, and sine of 0, this turns out, and you have your sine being your y value, and this is 0, so your coordinate is 1, 0, and so sine at 0 is 0. So you have 6 over pi times 1/2. And so 6 over pi times 1/2 gives you 6 over 2 pi, which simplifies down to 3 over pi. And so 3 over pi turns out to be your average value. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this problem a little further, and we're going to find the x. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to take the original equation and you're going to want to set it equal to your average value that we found. And then you take the inverse cosine of both sides to find your x value. And so we're going to do this in your calculator, so get out calculators. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to inverse cosine, 3 divided by pi, close parentheses, and that gives you your x value. Take the 3 decimal points, 0.301, and so your x value is 0.301. And so at f of 0.301, it equals 3 over pi. And this was your average value problem.